we are into the lecture number 24B, and today's topic is Vein Bridge Oscillator using op-amp. So in this lecture, we will explore in more details about the working and the derivation for the frequency of oscillations. Okay, now let us start and begin with our today's topic. Let me expand it a little more, the width of this diagram. Okay, I hope that this is visible now. Fine. Now let us start. So, okay, I need to adjust this properly. Yeah, it's fine now. So in this diagram, if you look carefully, let us understand this diagram carefully now. Okay, so the upper box, if you see over here, the which is consisting of op-amp and your two resistors, that is RF and R1. This is basically my amplifier with a gain of 1 plus RF upon R1. Okay, so this block will provide the negative feedback to control the gain, and the lower section we have it as a feedback network, so which is consisting of two RC elements. One is in series and one is in parallel, and here is my voltage, feedback voltage Vf, and here is my output voltage Vout. Okay, so this lower dotted box is my feedback circuit, and my upper one is my amplifier network. Okay, so here op-amp is connected in the non-inverting mode. Why non-inverting mode? Because here the feedback signal act as an input to the op-amp, so which makes this op-amp work in the non-inverting mode. And we know that when op-amp is in the non-inverting amplifier mode, it produces a 0-degree phase shift. Okay, and as I've already informed you all that whenever we have two RC elements, one is in series and one is in parallel, their phase shift will cancel out at frequency of oscillation. So the feedback network also provides a 0-degree phase shift. So hence the total phase shift around this loop is around 0 degrees. So one of the Barkhusen's criteria is satisfied over here. Okay, so here I've already described in point number 4 before only that the feedback network will consist of a series RC element and a parallel RC element. Okay, so the condition of the 0 phase shift around this loop is achieved by balancing the bridge. Now what is this bridge? Balancing the bridge means this is my bridge, the RC element in series and the RC element in parallel. Okay, so this is the bridge which we are talking about, and it is achieved, this 0 phase shift condition is achieved only at one unique frequency, which is F0, which is your frequency of oscillations. We will prove this point in some time. Okay, any doubts over here before we proceed ahead?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. So let us analyze. Now remember, we know that amplifier with a gain of 1 plus RF upon R1. I don't have to prove you all that you already know that, right? What we will concentrate from now on is, we'll concentrate on the feedback circuit. Okay, only the feedback circuit. We'll keep it in isolation and concentrate on that. So let's analyze the feedback network and find out whether its phase shift is indeed 0 degrees or not. We will verify that via simulations also. Indirectly, we are going to derive, similarly, we are going to derive the expression for the frequency of oscillations, and we are also going to derive the gain of the feedback network. You remember in the design numerical, we have assumed the value of the gain A of the amplifier as 3. So at the end of the derivation, you will understand why that should be 3. Okay. Now for this, I have to redraw the diagram, above diagram as follows, only concentrating on the feedback network. I suppose this is visible now, the circuit diagram. Let me just reduce this a little. Okay, so this is my circuit number 1.2. So here you see I have not drawn the other part. The amplifier part is missed out. Basically we are analyzing only the the feedback network. That's why we have concentrating on that feedback network only, and we have skipped the part of the amplifier. Okay, so here it is going to the non-inverting terminal. This is my Vf basically, and this is my output. The output of the op-amp is Vout. Okay, and the output of the feedback network is VF, feedback voltage. So we can club the two RC elements together. The series RC element together we can club it as Z1, and the parallel one we can call it as Z2. Impedances. Basically these are impedances, right? We can club RL, RC or RLC also. So we know that. And this is a positive feedback. Okay. So the gain, let us assume that the gain of the feedback network is denoted by K. Okay, now can I draw this as follows? As you can see, the same circuit as follows: V out over here, Z1, Z2, and VF. Any clarity required over here? So yeah, my VF is there. This is my Z2. This is my Z1. I've just denoted as a boxes. So inside this we have RNC, and here we have parallel RC. And we know that no current flows into the op amp terminal. So I plus is 0. Correct? So that's how we can relate this V out and VF. So just by a simple voltage divider rule, what we can write? We can write KF VF is equal to, what we can write? VF is equal to Z2 upon Z1 plus Z2 into V out. Correct? So what will be VF upon V out? VF upon V out will be equal to K, which will be equal to Z2 upon Z1 plus Z2, which we call it equation number 1. Anyone requiring any more clarity in this? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. So now we will proceed ahead. So to calculate the loop gain, that is A into K. Remember, the A is the gain of the feed of the amplifier, and K is the gain of the feedback network. So to calculate the product, that is A into K, we need to assume that the input impedance of this amplifier, that is the op amp, is very high, and we know that for a fact that input impedance of a op amp is extremely high. Also because that the bias current is, or that is I plus, is almost equal to 0. So the input impedance is already higher, so this assumption is very valid. Also there is one more point has to be clear over here. Also assume the frequency of oscillations fall in the range in which this amplifier has a flat frequency response. Now everyone identify this. What is this? This is basically my frequency response of amplifier, right? Correct? So over here we know that so we know that at low frequencies the gain falls, the high frequency the gain falls. So what we are assuming is we are operating at such a frequency which will fall in the gain, wherein the gain is a constant, it is not dropping. Okay, so that is the assumption which we are doing. That means we should design an oscillator which should be of not very low frequency or not very high frequency. Okay, that care we have to take. So that's what we have written over here, that assume the frequency of oscillations to be falling in the range wherein we have a flat frequency response. That means the gain is a constant, correct? So in this flat frequency response, my gain is a constant, and we have observed that fact. Okay, now I think most of you are aware of S domain. So we can write this same expression in S domain. So what will be it? A of S into K of S will be equal to A times Z2 upon Z1 plus Z2. Now you will wonder why I have written so. Just now I have said that we are assuming the frequency of oscillations to fall in the range where the gain is constant. So A is a constant. This will be frequency independent, correct? So if my gain is A, which is a constant, it will be frequency independent. That's why I've written here A directly. And what was K? K also was depending upon K also relation we have determined that it is Z2 upon Z1 plus Z2. So from equation number 1, we got this Z2 upon Z1 plus Z2. Any doubts over here? How we got this expression number 1? In S domain, A of S into K of S will be equal to A times Z2 upon Z1 plus Z2. Okay, and now we know that what is Z1 and Z2. What will be Z2? Z2 will be R parallel to 1 upon SC. I hope that you all know that in S domain, the capacitor can be written as 1 upon SC and the inductor can be written as S into L. Everyone clear about this?
Yes,
In
sir.
S domain? Okay, okay. So Z1 is given by R plus 1 upon SC. Okay. And again, the Z2 will be R parallel to 1 upon SC. And here you work it out, you calculate it. I mean, you algebraically solve this. So you will get a huge numerator and a denominator. And after simplifying, further simplifying, we arrange the denominator together, and we have some cancellations over here. So 1 plus SRC and 1 plus SRC gets cancelled out, and we expand this 1 plus S into CR the whole square, and finally we get this expression number 2, A of S into K of S is equal to A times SCR upon SRC square plus 3SRC plus 1. Now, if I substitute S equal to J omega, so what I am doing, what is this called actually? This I am going from S domain to frequency domain, correct? So we also know that if I take S square, that will be J square omega square. So J square is minus 1. So be wary of this point. So A of J omega into K of J omega will be equal to A times, this will be S. In place of S we have written J omega, and here if I take S square, that will be minus omega square. I hope that this point is clear. Is this clear? Equation number 3.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Now, in order for the A into K to be equal to 1, now remember the A into K has to be 1, right? So 1 is a real number. So A also should be equal to the real positive number. This means that from equation number 3, that this term over here, okay? So this term j omega rc upon omega square r square c square plus 3 j omega rc plus 1 must be real and must be equal to 1 upon A, correct? If I can prove that this is equal to 1 upon A, that means that A into K will be equal to 1. Okay, so that means this term over here must be real. This ratio should be real. And when this ratio should be real, when this ratio will be real, whenever the denominator is purely imaginary. Did you understand this point? This term over here must be real. Okay, it's not it shouldn't be imaginary, right? So it will be real, this ratio will be real only when the denominator must be purely imaginary. So for that, what we have to do, in the denominator we have a real part also, correct? So we have to get rid of this real part. So what we have to do, there are two real parts actually, 1 and minus omega square r square c square. So we have to equate that equal to 0. Are you all following? This is the most crucial step. Okay, again I repeat, from equation number 3, this term over here should be 1 upon A, and for it to be real, the denominator of this term should be purely imaginary. Okay, so for that, what we need to do is we need to equate the real part equal to 0. So that is what we are doing over here. 1 minus omega square r square c square must be equal to 0. So this gives us the condition of oscillations. Now it's just a matter of time, 1 or 2 steps. Omega square r square c square should be equal to 1. Omega will be equal to 1 upon rc. So omega is 2 pi f. Omega is basically frequency in radians per second, and we want to convert it into hertz. So omega equal to 2 pi f will be equal to 1 upon rc. So f is equal to f naught is equal to 1 upon 2 pi rc. Okay, so this is how we this is the way we calculate the we derive the frequency of oscillations for a Wien bridge oscillator. Any doubts in this? Can I proceed ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. So now we'll have to quickly wind up this session. Actually, we have over around 5 minutes. We can take max more. Okay, let me just adjust this. Uh, oh yeah. So now next, let's find out how much should be the gain A at f equal to f naught. okay, at frequency equal to the frequency of oscillations. So we know that when the circuit operates at f0, we need to substitute omega square r square c square in expression number 3. So this is my expression number 3 actually, 1 upon a equal to this. So over here we need to substitute wherever there is a omega square r square c square, substitute it as 1. So if you substitute it as 1, we actually get this term. 1 and minus 1 gets cancelled out, and also j omega rc gets cancelled out. So we'll get 1 upon 3. That is 1 upon 3 should be equal to 1 upon a. So a should be 3. Now you remember why we took in the design numerical a as 3? It is actually from the derivation we got that. So the gain of the amplifier in a Wien-Bridge oscillator should be 3. So if the gain is 3, my feedback factor gain should be 1 upon 3. Okay, because a into k should be 1. So if a is 3, k has to be 1 by 3. Are you all following? All this is happening at f equal to f0. Okay, and since the amplifier is in the non-inverting mode, and since the gain has to be 3, so my rf upon r1 should be 2, and rf should be twice r1. Actually, that's why we have substituted this. Okay, and that's what exactly which we have done in the design. So if we design with rf equal to twice r1, then this Wien-Bridge oscillator circuit will produce sinusoidal oscillations with a frequency of f0. Any doubts why? Now did you understand why a was 3 and why did we took rf as twice of r1? Everyone?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Now what we will do is we'll have a reflection spot now. We'll quickly verify. Now we all know that you all know what is h of j omega, right? H of j omega is nothing but a transfer function, and this is basically my transfer function only. It is Vf upon V out, correct? So that is nothing but my k only, but I am writing in terms of transfer function. So you all know how to plot a magnitude plot. This is my magnitude plot and this is my phase plot. Okay. So this I have written as mod of h and this is angle of h. And at f equal to f0, that is at 1000 hertz, I should get phase exactly as 0 and the magnitude as around 1 by 3. This is the gain of the feedback network, right? Yeah. So h of j omega is my gain of my feedback network. That should be 3. So let's run it in LT-Spice and let's quickly find out whether the values are coming inconsistent with the theory or no. So I'll go to LT-Spice. Just few minutes more, and then we'll wind up today's lecture. Let me go to the beta network. Remember, we are concentrating only on the beta network now. So no need to draw the complete op-amp circuit. Okay, yes. Okay, as you can see, this is my beta network. This is this network over here. This network over here. So basically, I wish to plot the magnitude and the phase plot only of the beta network. So the input to the beta network is V out and the output is VF. And R and C I have took it as 1 nano and 159, which will give me the frequency of oscillation as around 1000 hertz. You remember F0 was given by 1 upon 2 pi RC, correct? And so we are concentrating on that only. So in this, my feedback fraction will be VF upon V out. Now let's check that whether we are getting the results properly or not. Okay, I talked about the magnitude and the phase plot. Let us check that. Okay, I'll plot V out. Okay, sorry, I'll plot V F. Actually, this output of the feedback output of this feedback network is VF, not V out basically. So this is my VF. Okay. Now this is the same graph as you can see over here. I can actually divide it into two plane plots. Again, here I will plot VF only. Okay. And here I will remove the phase plot. And here I will remove the magnitude plot. Where it is? Okay. I will have to, I don't know. Yeah. So can you see this? Okay, I have to bring this down. Okay, anyways, not a problem. So can you see this plot, everyone? So here I have to reduce this to logarithmic. Okay, this is this at f equal to f naught. This is at 1 kilohertz, right? So let's check the magnitude. Actually, here in the write up, I have made a mistake. Here it should be 1 by 3. I by mistake written over here 1. It should be 1 by 3. I am trying to prove that the gain of the feedback network should be 1 by 3. Okay. So over here, let us check that out with the cursor. So here I have my cursor over here, and let me maximize this and do that. So you're exactly at around 1 kilohertz. I need to, expand it a little. Yeah. So can anyone check at around, it's around 1 kilohertz, right? Around. So it's exactly around 1 kilohertz. And what's the magnitude? 333.3 millivolt. I mean, correct, na? So that is equal to 1 by 3, correct? What is 1 by 3.333, right? So we are getting a magnitude of 1 by 3. And what is the phase shift? Let us check the phase shift. So over here, I'll bring it at 1 kilohertz. So this is 1 kilohertz. What is the phase shift? See, over here phase shift is minus 26.91 millidegree. That means it is minus 0.02. Agree, everyone? So phase shift is around 0. As you can see over here, the phase shift is around 0. So that means it is happening only at one frequency. And what is that frequency? 1 kilohertz. Everyone following now? How does the the phase shift is 0 degree of the feedback network, and why the gain of the feedback network should be 1 by 3? Any doubts over here? Hello.
No, sir.
Okay, fine, very good. So that means the phase shift around this feedback network is really 0 at the frequency of oscillations. And also the, I have already calculated that. So and the magnitude is 1 by 3 at frequency of oscillations. Okay, so this indeed, whatever we have derived so far is indeed correct. Then this is just explaining the working of the circuit. So as soon as the external DC supply is, this is just explaining the working. Let me just open up the diagram once. Okay, I will reduce it to 25%. Okay, let me take one more minute and describe the whatever we have written in the working part, and then we'll conclude today's lecture. So I'll just read out this. Actually, we have discussed this point, but still. So, okay, I need to bring it to around 20. Okay, as soon as the external DC supply is applied to power up the op-amp, we get the circuit starts oscillating, right? And it oscillates at only one frequency of oscillation, that is 1000 hertz, if we consider those values in the design. But it works without any AC input. So how does it work, right? So we will be studying soon that there is something called as output offset voltage. That means even if we don't apply any input to the op-amp, anything, nothing at the input of the op-amp, still there will be small millivolt signal at the output. That that voltage is called as offset voltage or the error voltage. Correct? So this error voltage is present in every op-amp. We have to offset null it. Okay, we have to remove it. So we can do that easily. You remember op-amp has pin number 1 and 5. So we can keep a potentiometer of 10 kilo ohm around 1 and 5, pin number 1 and 5, and we can adjust this output offset voltage to 0. Right now we require this output offset voltage. It should be 0. But if you don't apply anything to the op-amp, the output of the op-amp should give you 0 volts, but it is not. So this will act as a trigger. Okay. So this small output offset voltage at the output of the op-amp is fed back to this feedback network. Now what this feedback network will do, it is a positive feedback, right? So it will increase its amplitude. Oh yeah, let's say, let me see. Can you see this? Everyone saw this waveform, right? It's slowly building up. So initially we have a very, very small amplitude, and this output offset voltage is in millivolts. Now what this feedback network will do, it will again feed it back to the input. And what will the amplifier do? Amplifier will again amplify that, that small millivolt signal by the factor of 3. and this process will keep on continuing. It will keep on increasing. Then again it will be, again feed it back to the output, which will 3 times greater than the millivolt. Let's say the output offset voltage is 1 millivolt. So next time it passes back to the input side and back to the output, it becomes 3 millivolt. Okay, again it's feedback to the input. Due to positive feedback, the amplitude will increase slightly. So right now, how much it will be? The amplitude will be, now 3 into 3, 9. So the process will keep on repeating and until you get a sustained oscillation like this. Okay, and at frequency, and the circuit should achieve the frequency of 1000 hertz. Until that both conditions are achieved, this amplitude will keep on building and it will saturate at one point. You remember the output waveforms was coming as slightly distorted. Everyone agree? So that means that the maximum output amplitude of a sinusoidal oscillator is limited by the op-amp saturation limits, that is plus or minus Vsat. So basically it was hitting the plus or minus Vsat values over here. That's why it was getting like this. Okay. Okay, so whenever the phase shift around the loop is 0 degree and A into K is 1, the product of it is 1, you get a sustained oscillation. Now, what do you mean by sustained oscillation? The magnitude and the phase shift of the, the magnitude and the amplitude and the phase, the amplitude and the frequency of oscillations are steady. They are constant. And at f equal to f naught, the gain of the feedback network is 1/3, that we have already seen. So for the gain of the amplifier should be precisely slightly greater than 3. Now, if we have A into K ratio, according to the Barkhusen's criteria, less than 3, what will happen? The oscillations will be underdamped and they will die out like this. And if it is greater than 3, what will happen? The oscillations will be overdamped and it will keep on growing and ultimately it will hit the saturation voltage of the op-amp. Okay, that will result in a slightly distorted waveform which we were getting earlier and which have no control whatsoever on its amplitude. You remember we have implemented this, this circuit over here. Okay, and we have simulated this and we got the output like this. You remember these were saturated. So these were saturated exactly here. You see the plus or minus Vsat. So that's the point we have written over here. Here in this case, the A into K was just greater than 3. Okay, so that means my oscillations will be overdamped and it will hit the, it will keep on growing until it will hit the saturation voltage of the op-amp. And that's exactly what we are doing over here. That's exactly what we are getting over here. Okay. Any doubt in this? I think that's it I have to offer over here. But only thing is here the output waveforms have no control on its amplitude. So we cannot control the amplitude. So in the next lecture, we'll see how we can control the amplitude of the output waveforms. So that's it from my side in this lecture. Next time we'll see in more details how we can achieve the amplitude of this, control the amplitude of a Bain bridge oscillator. Okay, so if you have no further queries, I would like to, end this session.